Is Canada's housing market finally in bear territory after being in a bull market for so long? Well, in this video, we're gonna look at a BMO report that says exactly that. And make sure you stay until the end because BMO doesn't just look at pricing, but looks at other factors that are happening across the board. So let's get to it. Hi everybody, my name is Connie Sarvananthan and I'm a real estate agent and investor here in Toronto and the GTA, and I think we should just get straight to the article. Okay, so this is the article. It's from Stories, Real Estate News, and it's stories.com. I will link to it if copyright allows me. But the title of the article is called Canada's Housing Market Entering Bear Territory per BMO, which is the Bank of Montreal. Basically, we've been in bull market for the past few years, and now we are officially entering bear territory, according to BMO. And BMO's chief economist is Douglas Porter, and what he said in a letter that went out to clients is basically, after months of decline, we are officially entering bear territory, and basically quoting the fact that since February, which was the peak, every month there's been a decline in prices. And he said that basically this is as a result of Bank of Canada's aggressive interest rate policy. So we've had so many interest rates. Remember, we started off at 0.25% for the last 2 years for the Bank of Canada overnight rate, and we're sitting at 2.5% right now, and they are expecting more hikes. So he's saying that as a result of that, the market has completely slowed down. So not only have prices been dropping every month since February, but we're seeing a significant drop in volume as well. So the next couple of paragraphs, they talk about months of inventory. And so what they're talking about is at the beginning of the year, months of inventory was sitting at 1.7, and now it's doubled to 3.4. And so that's a pretty big indicator for them as well. So what is months of inventory? Well, months of inventory means that if you took all the houses available for sale in a market or whatever area they're looking at, and you look at the average sales rate, sales turnover rate, and you apply that, how long would it take for us to sell all the available homes? So back in January, it was 1.7 months, and now it's at 3.4 months. And so what Porter is saying is basically that we're getting back to pre-pandemic levels. So pre-pandemic levels, we were a little over 4 months worth of inventory. And so he says that, that this is an indicator of what's happening within the housing market. But for him, the biggest concern is the next factor. If you're finding value in these videos, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, good or bad, I would love to hear them. And remember, if you have any real estate needs in Toronto or the GTA, feel free to call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to take care of you. And if you want to talk to me directly, then my calendar link is below. So the next few paragraphs really talk sales to new listing, and this is probably the biggest concern that BMO has. So basically what they're saying is our sales to new listing has declined significantly. So, for all of 21, we had a record high of 75 sales to new listing. And then in Canada, it dropped to 50 sales to new listing. And then in Ontario, it's just above 40 sales to new listing. So definitely a slowdown of sales to new listing. And that for them is a big concern because it's saying that if people aren't actually buying these products that are coming out, then they're worried that the market could go down further. So that's the big thing that BMO is saying. And then they go into pricing. So with pricing, basically what they're saying is pricing has declined every month since February, which we all know. And if you look at the markets across the board, it's basically that we're flat. In the GTA, we're slightly up versus July 2021. Durham is at where they were at in July 2021, and Simcoe is slightly below July 2021. And when I say slightly below, it's $10,000. So I'd say if you want to look at the numbers very easily, we're flat to where we were a year ago. Now, We have been declining every month since February, so August is going to be a real telltale sign of what's going to happen going forward, because we're flat to last year. Is this trend going to be continuing? The other big question, and which is what they state in their last paragraph, is that, even though there's been price declines every month since February, July's price decline was slightly smaller than June's price decline. So does that mean that the price declines are also getting smaller across the board? We'll have to wait and see. And then the last thing that they mention is, with another interest rate hike coming, is this going to really affect the market even more? And so that's their overall picture. So how do I feel about all of this, and what's my opinion? Well, it's interesting because I've gotten some comments that say, why do you go through some of these negative articles about what's happening in the real estate market? Because isn't your job to try and sell or convince us to buy real estate? And I don't believe that's my job. My job is to help you make an informed decision. Because listen, real estate's going to happen no matter what. People have job transfers, people have babies, people get married. Like real estate, there's reasons why real estate continues to move no matter what the market is happening. However, if you have flexibility in your timing, then I believe it's really important that you understand the overall market so you can make your decisions with all the information that's available, whether you're selling or you're buying. And I think that, by giving you the tools and giving you the information, then I am helping you make a decision that's good for you. And so with my clients right now, what I'm doing is I'm keeping them informed of what's happening in 2022, because 2022 has been really historic and unprecedented in that we had this peak in February, and then we've had this decline since then. And then we've had all of these interest rate hikes. So, and all the other factors that are happening outside, like inflation and things like that, which is what Bank of Canada is trying to control. So I think it's important to understand 2022, of course, and that's the first thing. But you also have to look at what's happened for the last 2 years during the pandemic, when interest rates were at the Bank of Canada overnight rate was at 0.25. What was happening there, and how much did pricing go up, and looking at everything that happened within housing at that point. And then understanding things like months of inventory and sales to new listing ratios, because that's also important to understand. And then finally, you have to look at what happened before the pandemic and see what happened in your market during that time, because it'll give you some indication of what was normal, what was happening in that market up until then. And then you get a real sense of what the pandemic did and then what's happening in 2022. Because I will say this, what I find is that it's very market specific. So I give you guys Toronto and the GTA because it's just easier to do one market. However, even within Toronto, there's different pockets that have been affected either more or less, because what happened to them during the pandemic was more or less. So it's really important to understand all those numbers, but also understand it for your specific pocket that you're interested in. And my job is to inform you as much as possible, because I feel like the more informed you are, the happier you're going to be with your sale or purchase. So if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear them. If you agree or disagree, please let me know, because that also informs me of what kind of content you're interested in hearing. And of course, if you have any real estate needs in Toronto or the GTA, feel free to call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to take care of you. And if you want to talk to me directly, then my calendar link is below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.